Hello and welcome to Soul's Compass Healing. My name is Brianne Lazinski. I'm an evolutionary astrologer and I'm so excited to talk with you today about this new moon in Aquarius happening on January 29th, 2025 as I look at the sun conjunct Pluto peeking through the clouds over there. Wow. What a sight. What an energy. So what I want to talk about today, also need to do the plug. I am offering one-on-one support sessions where I incorporate evolutionary astrology into a counseling session for you. If you are interested in hearing more about this, you can please visit my website. It is linked in the description below. You can check out more about me and my background there. I also have an Instagram page linked there. I want to get into the symbolism of Pluto and Aquarius straight off the hop. When we look at the zodiac, we can see that Aquarius naturally squares Scorpio. So when we have the symbolism merging together of Pluto in Aquarius, this inherently within this one symbol, there is a lot of tension. And what I want to say to this is that before we start throwing around the word revolution, I think it's important to ask ourselves, when looking back on humanity's history, what were the circumstances in which a revolution was necessary? The force of evolution is ruthless. And therefore, the word, the connotation, what revolution actually is a big deal. And it's not some fun time to parade around and be, thinking that everything's just going to come together, that we're all just going to be liberated by some magic trick of life. It's a lot more different than that in reality. And so, what a time. What a time to be an evolutionary astrologer, using the science of observation and correlation. So we observe our surroundings, what is going on in the world around us, and then we use the medicine of astrology, the science of astrology, in the way that it provides us with different categorizations or classifications so that we can objectify the phenomena that is going on, so that we can therefore understand why such and such a thing is happening, so that we can therefore understand what the next steps in our evolutionary journey are to take. And when we have the ruler of this new moon, Uranus, who is stationed at 23 degrees Taurus, has been for quite some time now, and will actually station direct on the day after this new moon. This means that there's an amplification of Uranian energy right now, and Uranian energy in Taurus, which can be attributed to sudden shocks to economic systems that will have powerful and lasting implications. And so this calls to our attention our need to assess our adaptability for survival. Assessing what are our internal and external resources right now, and assessing our capacity or ability to be able to exercise and implement them to meet our own needs and our community needs. I also want to speak about the symbolism of the moon. the moon is the archetype of making conscious choice. And when the moon is in Aquarius, we can be, this is really actually illuminating, because when you look at, if we were to put a moon phase between the 4th house and the 11th house, that is a full phase, right? So it is very illuminating in nature, this symbolism of the moon in Aquarius. And it is illuminating what? That line between that which we know and that which we don't know. That which we know feels safe, it feels familiar, feels secure. It's usually where we want to keep looping around and around and around, autopilot mode, right? And then that which we don't know, which is this line that Jeffrey Wolf Green often used when he was speaking about Uranus, was freedom from the known. In order to be free from the known, he said, you have to know what you are going to be freeing yourself from, or freed from. And so I'll give you guys a silly example. I saw this young girl tie her shoes in a very cool way that intrigued my curiosity. I thought it looked like a magic trick, so I was like, I want you to teach me how to tie my shoes like that. She taught me, and then ever since then, I've been going to tie my shoes, and I've been noticing that my body just goes into autopilot mode of like the way that I've tied my shoes my whole entire life. It is going to take me slowing down and making a conscious choice to tie my shoes in this new way that this girl just taught me. And I'm going to have to really slow down and think about it, like step by step, like, okay, and then do, step A, B, C, whatever, in order for that to start to break in, right? In order for that to become a new way in which I actually operate from. It's just a silly example, but the analogy can work for anything. And what I'm finding very interesting about who's conjoined Pluto at the time of this new moon, Mercury, in the sign of Aquarius, here we have very interesting symbolism, because Mercury represents the logical mind that categorizes the phenomena that we see. This is my car, that is snow, that is a tree, etc. With Aquarius, which represents the higher mind, the individuated memory bank that we all have within us of all of the memories we have ever had in this life and others that are within us on a certain level and dimension and degree. However, we may not have the ability to recall them like we might be able to recall what we ate for breakfast, right? So within this symbolism, there can be the possibility for eureka moments that spur us onto our evolutionary journey, conversations with inspiring people who are on the same wavelength as us, who want to pioneer and take charge in new directions. And it can also be the opposite of that, right? In astrology, these archetypes, there's a full spectrum reality of how they can manifest. And I'm speaking in very general terms in these videos, so it can also be like the resistance to evolve, right? That desire to want to hold on to old modes of understanding how life works, and trying to be like, nope, this is how it is, and this is how it's going to be, and I'm the boss, and end of story, right? I'm sure we can be seeing a lot of that when we look around in the collective. And I also want to speak to the fact that this new moon is first quarter square Vesta. And this can really be instigating this inward questioning of like, why? Why am I doing this work that I'm doing, and what wants to evolve in this work? And it doesn't just need to be paid work. It can be whatever we are passionate about, whatever we are dedicated to in our life. That helps us to fan our own inner flame of like, yeah, this is why I'm here, as well as fanning the hearth fire of humanity, right? And so this again comes down to what I was speaking to, assessing our own internal and external resources and determining, all right, how am I going to apply this, and why am I going to apply this, and what do I need in order to apply this, because we all are here for a reason at this particular time. And with the North Node in Pisces, we can be seeking that work or that passion, that which we are dedicated to, that just naturally flows from our soul. And that is a beautiful endeavor to be making, and we can be having roadblocks being put in our way around things that are like, nope, that's not it, that's not it, that's not it. And that's great in a sense, actually, because it's showing us, okay, if all of these doors are closing, then there must be a why behind it. It must be because that's not where I'm meant to be dedicating my life force. That's not why my soul chose to incarnate here and now. So big stuff, North Node and Pisces. Anywho, I also want to speak to the fact that Jupiter has been stationed at 11 degrees Gemini for quite some time, and will actually be turning direct on February 4th. And what's interesting about 11 degrees Gemini is that that's where the North Node of Uranus is. So this can be a potent and genius illumination of what liberation actually is about for our species right now. So this is where I am asking and calling on y'all, the pioneers, the creatives, the teachers, the healers, the writers. Are you willing to take the leap of faith? Are you feeling the illumination of what your piece of the puzzle is to bring to the collective to help us survive what we are going through right now? I also want to speak to the fact that the moon's nodes in evolutionary astrology, we always view the chart through Pluto and the moon's nodes. And what is so interesting about the North Node being in Pisces at the time of this new moon is that it is conjunct its ruler Neptune and is conjunct Venus. And so let's take a dive into that symbolism. The symbolism of Venus and Neptune. Venus being the lower octave of Neptune, being about self-love, interpersonal love, Neptune being about that transcendental love. And they are meeting on the North Node in Pisces. So on this point where it's like, hey, collective consciousness, hey, humanity, like, this is what we're leaning into. in order to move forward in our evolution. That's the symbolism. So let's break it down even further. If we are to equate Pisces to the ocean, right? I don't know if you've ever been underwater and you've watched like seaweed swaying. It's so beautiful. It's all fluid and smooth as it sways within the flux of the ocean. The ocean is in constant flux. If the tide is incoming somewhere, it's outgoing somewhere else, right? So Pisces in and of itself is constantly seeking balance. In evolutionary astrology, we more so associate that seeking of balance to the archetype of Libra, which is ruled by Venus. And that is the experience that we can go through extremities, extreme situations, in order to, kind of have that pendulum swing kind of balance out a bit, where we don't need to necessarily go fully in this direction or fully in that direction to learn the lesson, right? Over time, after many times of bouncing back and forth between these different polarizations and extremities, duality, the black and white of life, we get more comfortable in learning how to live in this area of gray. And yeah, there's helicopters all the time. Sorry about it. But yeah, so in essence, what I'm speaking to here is that the collective consciousness, this is that ruthless element of Pisces, is that collective consciousness will do whatever is necessary in order to seek balance, in effort of its seeking of balance, I guess is how I should put it. So yeah, is Pisces the ultimate love and a beauty? Is Venus the ultimate love and beauty? Yes. And also, it is the antithesis of those things, right? If we look at the archetype of Venus, she is the one who can bring heaven on earth. She is the one who can, wow, that is a very loud helicopter. She is the one who can bring peace to the earth. And she is also the one who can go down into the underworld, right? And be like churring up the earth beneath the earth that never gets touched because nobody wants to go there because it's so gruesome and gory and terrible, and she's there and she's in it, right? Venus is the symbolism that we can experience both heaven and earth in a human body on this planet. And so, yeah, what element, there is an element that adds to this, and I'm going to be speaking to the fact that Lucifer, asteroid Lucifer, retrograde in Cancer, is going to be squaring the moon's nodes at the time of this new moon. It's not exact, but it's within 2 degrees. I'm definitely feeling it and seeing it. That there is this element of free will that we have as humans that adds complexity to this natural phenomenon of nature and consciousness seeking balance. And we as humans, we do learn through extremes. And it's about also acknowledging that each of us has a shadow. Each of us has free will, right? It's so easy to lean back and be like, oh, look, there's evil, there's evil everywhere, right? Out into the collective consciousness. And yeah, that exists. And also, there is a shadow within each and every one of us. And so this symbolism is really wanting us to slow down and realize that we do have a shadow that contributes to the collective, and that when we are taking accountability for our actions, this is in essence us doing our own work to integrate that shadow and to grow through that, grow through the mistakes that we make. And with this symbolism, it can also be so easy to focus too much on the shadow and be like, oh, well, then I'm just completely worthless, and doubting oneself and feeling very insecure in oneself, etc. And that too is dangerous. That too is the influence of evil wanting to trip us up and block us from realizing that, hey, actually, I do have free will to make conscious choices, to do things differently, right? And it's not that we shoo away the insecurity. I think that's so important. It's that when these feelings of self-doubt or self-deprecation even, or self-loathing even, come up, it's like embracing them and illuminating them and being like, okay, like, what do you need? Being the mother to our own inner children and giving ourselves what we need. And through that illumination comes the transformation automatically. So it's no longer this battle of needing to eliminate something, needing to get rid of the shadow, needing to overcome the ego. No. That's missing the mark. That's spiritual bypassing is what that is. And I think it's worth saying that we're still under the influence of the last eclipse, where it was very much about reviewing our relationships in the past, reviewing our relating patterns. And I think that with the symbolism of what we're seeing right now, it's worthy to mention that doing that deep inner nurturing for ourselves will impact how we relate to ourselves. Therefore, will have, like a drop of water makes a ripple in an ocean, it will impact how we relate to others, and it will impact collective consciousness. It just will. It can't not. And so I'm going to leave you with this thought today. I am very cold. I don't even think I can really feel my feet right now. Thank you so much for listening, and I will speak with you next time.